First contact. The silver research vessel Athena descended through swirling amber clouds, its landing struts extending as it approached the surface of Nebulon 4. Inside the command module, Dr. Sarah Chen rechecked her environmental suit seals, heart racing with anticipation. Final atmospheric analysis complete, she announced to the small expedition team. Oxygen levels at 23%, slightly higher than Earth standard, but within safe parameters for limited exposure. Captain Alex nodded, his weathered face serious. "Remember the protocols, Dr. Chen," he said. "This is strictly sample collection. We have 8 hours before the magnetosphere fluctuations make departure impossible." Sarah suppressed her excitement as the ship touched down with a gentle shudder. After 3 years traversing deep space, they had finally arrived at humanity's most distant planetary exploration. The untouched alien landscape beckoned through the viewports, a world of rust-colored vegetation and strange twisting rock formations. "I've waited my entire career for this moment," she whispered, securing her collection kit. 2 hours into the expedition, Sarah had separated slightly from the main group, drawn to a cluster of bioluminescent fungi growing along a ravine. The specimens pulsed with internal light, responding to her proximity in ways that defied explanation. She was so engrossed in her work that she failed to notice the shifting shadows behind her. The warning cry came too late. Something massive erupted from the nearby underbrush, a predator with multiple limbs and gleaming fangs. Sarah stumbled backward, specimen containers scattering as she reached for her emergency beacon. Before she could activate it, a blur of motion intercepted the creature. A tall, humanoid figure wielding a crystalline weapon had positioned itself between her and the predator. The stranger's movements were fluid and precise, but even Sarah could see the fight was mismatched. The creature's claws tore through the warrior's protective garment, revealing purple skin beneath that immediately began seeping silvery fluid. The warrior managed to drive the creature away, but collapsed immediately afterward. Sarah rushed to the fallen figure, medical training overriding her shock at encountering a sentient alien species. Up close, she could see the warrior's features were strikingly human-like, despite the violet skin tone and elongated features. "Can you understand me?" she asked, scanning the deep wounds across the warrior's chest. When no response came, she checked for breathing and found none. Without hesitation, Sarah cleared the airway and began cardiopulmonary resuscitation, pressing rhythmically against the alien's chest before sealing her lips over the stranger's and forcing air into still lungs. She felt a strange tingling sensation where their lips connected, but continued the procedure. "Breathe," she urged between compressions. "Please breathe." On the 5th breath, the warrior gasped, eyes flying open to reveal irises of startling amber flecked with gold. Those eyes fixed on Sarah with initial confusion, then something like wonder. "You're going to be all right," Sarah said soothingly, though she had no idea if the alien could understand her. "I'm Sarah." The warrior's hand weakly reached up, touching Sarah's face with trembling fingers. A strange warmth passed between them at the contact. "Kai," the warrior responded in a voice that sounded distinctly masculine, placing a hand against his own chest. The moment was interrupted by the arrival of Sarah's team, weapons drawn as they surrounded the pair. Captain Alex pulled Sarah away, despite her protests. "We have to help him. He saved my life." What none of them understood in that moment was how profoundly that simple act of resuscitation would change everything. Sarah had given Kai the breath of life, and in return, his alien biology had initiated a process that would rewrite the future of both their species. That night, as Kai was kept under observation in the ship's medical bay, Sarah dreamed of amber eyes and felt a strange new warmth spreading through her body. Strange symptoms. 3 weeks after the expedition to Nebulon 4, Sarah sat on an examination table in the research base's medical facility. Dr. Isabel frowned at the readings on her diagnostic tablet. Your hormone levels are completely abnormal, Isabel said, and there's some kind of unknown protein circulating in your bloodstream. Have you been experiencing any other symptoms? Sarah hesitated before answering. Dizziness in the mornings, unusual sensitivity to light, and I keep having these vivid dreams. She didn't mention that all the dreams featured Kai, the alien warrior who had saved her life and who now resided in the diplomatic section of the station under careful observation. I'd like to run more tests, Isabel replied, pressing a cool instrument against Sarah's wrist. Your core temperature is elevated by 1.3 degrees, and your heart rate has a slight arrhythmic pattern that wasn't present in your pre-mission physical. A knock on the examination room door interrupted them. Commander Arya entered, her uniform pristine and her expression unreadable. Dr. Chen, when you're finished here, the Nebulonian ambassador has requested to speak with you. It appears our purple friend has been asking for you specifically. Sarah's heart quickened at the news. Kai is awake? Not Kai, Commander Arya corrected. A new arrival, Ambassador Cooper. He seems quite concerned about your interaction with their warrior. After Isabel reluctantly released her from the examination, Sarah followed Commander Arya through the station's diplomatic wing. The architecture here blended human and alien design elements, an attempt to create neutral territory for interspecies negotiations. Ambassador Cooper waited in a chamber filled with ambient light that pulsed subtly in patterns resembling Nebulonian script. Unlike Kai's warrior physique, Cooper had a slender build, though his skin shared the same purple hue. His eyes were a deeper amber, almost bronze. Dr. Sarah Chen, he said in perfect English, I am grateful you agreed to meet with me. You wanted to discuss Kai, right? Sarah replied, taking the offered seat across from him. Cooper's expression became grave. I need to ask you something of a personal nature. When you saved Warrior Kai's life, you performed mouth-to-mouth resuscitation, correct? Yes, it's standard emergency procedure for humans. In our people, Cooper said carefully, the sharing of breath is sacred. It is how we transfer our essence, our very life force. It is also, he paused, how genetic material is exchanged between compatible partners. Sarah felt a chill run through her body. What exactly are you saying? Your symptoms, Dr. Chen, they are consistent with what we call the joining. Cooper leaned forward. When you breathed life into Kai, something unprecedented occurred. Your genetic material merged with his in a way that should be biologically impossible between different species. The room seemed to spin around Sarah. That can't be what you're suggesting. I believe you are carrying a hybrid child, Cooper said softly, the first of its kind in recorded history. Sarah pressed a hand to her abdomen, suddenly understanding the strange warmth she had felt growing within her. This is scientifically impossible, she whispered. And yet, it has happened, Cooper replied. Kai sensed it immediately upon regaining consciousness. Our people have certain abilities when it comes to genetic recognition. Commander Arya, who had remained silent, stepped forward. Ambassador, if what you're suggesting is true, then Dr. Chen's condition represents an unprecedented scientific development. It represents far more than that, Cooper's voice hardened. Already, word has spread among both our peoples. Some see this as a miracle, a bridge between worlds. Others view it as a threat to genetic purity. Dr. Chen and the child will need protection. I need to see Kai, Sarah said firmly. Cooper nodded. He has been asking for you, but I must warn you. This development changes everything. The political implications alone. I don't care about politics. I need answers. As she left the meeting with directions to Kai's quarters, Sarah could feel the weight of possibility growing within her. Whatever was happening to her body defied scientific understanding, yet she couldn't deny the strange certainty that something miraculous had begun with that single breath exchanged on an alien world. Her hand remained pressed against her abdomen, where she imagined she could feel the faintest flutter of new life, neither fully human nor Nebulonian, but something entirely new. A bridge between worlds, indeed. Divided worlds. Kai's quarters in the diplomatic wing reflected his warrior status, sparse and functional, with only a few ceremonial objects displayed on shelves. When Sarah entered, he stood by the viewport overlooking the stars, his purple skin illuminated by the distant suns. "Sarah," he said, turning toward her. The way he spoke her name carried unexpected tenderness. "Is it true?" she asked without preamble. "Am I carrying your child?" Kai approached slowly, his amber eyes never leaving hers. "May I?" He gestured toward her abdomen. When Sarah nodded, he placed his hand gently on her stomach. The contact sent a wave of warmth through her body, and something within her seemed to respond to his touch. "The essence recognizes me," he said, wonder filling his voice. "Our genetic codes have merged in a way that should be impossible." "But how?" Sarah whispered. "Among my people, breath carries more than oxygen. It carries genetic markers, cellular memory. When you breathed life into me, your human physiology interacted with mine in an unprecedented way." Sarah sank onto a nearby chair. "The medical scans show something growing inside me, but it doesn't match any human embryonic development patterns. Nor does it match Nebulonian patterns. Nebulonian patterns. Nebulonian patterns. Nebulonian patterns." Kai knelt before her. "What grows within you is something entirely new, a bridge between our species." Beyond the walls of Kai's quarters, both human and Nebulonian societies grappled with the implications of their union. In the main laboratory, Dr. Isabel argued fiercely with the station's military commander. "She is not a laboratory specimen," Isabel insisted. "Sarah is my patient and my friend." Commander Rena, newly arrived from Earth Central Command, remained unmoved. "This pregnancy represents a potential biological breakthrough. Earth authorities want her transferred to the Advanced Research Facility immediately." "So they can turn her into a test subject?" Isabel's voice rose. "I won't allow it." "You don't have the authority to prevent it," Rena replied coldly. Similar debates raged within the Nebulonian delegation. Ambassador Cooper faced the Council of Elders via holographic transmission, their purple faces showing varying degrees of concern. "The prophecy speaks of a bridge between worlds," said Elder Aya, her ancient features solemn. "Some believe this child fulfills that prophecy. Others fear it threatens our genetic purity," countered Elder Jax. "There are already calls to terminate this aberration." Cooper maintained his diplomatic composure. "The humans would never allow harm to come to Dr. Chen. Any attempt would destroy our fragile alliance." As political tensions mounted, Sarah and Kai found themselves drawing closer. During quiet evenings in his quarters, he taught her about Nebulonian culture, their hands often entwined. "Our written language is based on breath patterns," he explained one night, guiding her fingers over intricate symbols. "Each character represents not just sound, but the precise way air moves through the body when speaking." Sarah found herself fascinated by the alienness of his culture, yet comforted by the similarities they shared. "Humans express intimacy through touch," she said, demonstrating by tracing her fingers along his arm. The contact sent shivers through them both. Despite their physiological differences, they discovered a profound attraction that transcended species. Their first kiss began tentatively, an exploration of unfamiliar territory, but quickly deepened into something more primal. Among my people, breathing together is considered the deepest form of intimacy, he whispered against her neck. That night, they discovered new ways of connecting, her warm skin against his cooler purple flesh, creating patterns of sensation neither had experienced before. Their breathing synchronized as their bodies joined, and Sarah felt the presence within her responding to their union with pulses of warmth. Afterward, as they lay entwined in the dim light, Kai placed his hand protectively over her slightly swollen abdomen. "Our peoples may reject what we've created," he said quietly, "but I will protect you both with my life." Sarah covered his hand with hers. "Whatever happens, we face it together." Neither could have predicted how soon their resolve would be tested. The next morning, Sarah collapsed during a routine medical scan, silver-blue fluid seeping from her nose, a sign that her human physiology was struggling to accommodate the alien life growing within her. As medical alarms blared and Dr. Isabel rushed to stabilize her, Kai felt their connection wavering. For the first time since their miraculous joining, he faced the possibility that in saving his life, Sarah might lose her own.
The healing ritual. Sarah's condition deteriorated rapidly as her human body fought against the alien presence growing within her. Dr. Isabel worked frantically in the medical bay, her face drawn with worry. "Her systems are shutting down," she told Kai, who refused to leave Sarah's side. Human physiology wasn't designed for this kind of hybrid pregnancy. "There is a way," Kai said, his voice low and urgent. "An ancient ritual my people perform when genetic compatibility is threatened. It requires a deep exchange of essence, more than breath this time." Commander Rena, who had been monitoring the situation, stepped forward. "Absolutely not. We can't authorize experimental alien procedures on a human subject. Without intervention, both will die." Kai's amber eyes flashed with determination. Ambassador Cooper arrived, bringing with him a small contingent of Nebulonian healers. "The Council has authorized the ritual," he announced, "but it must be performed on Nebulonian soil, under the light of our twin moons." "That's impossible," Rena objected. "Dr. Chen is in no condition to travel, and I will not authorize her removal from this facility." Dr. Isabel looked between the commander and Sarah's unconscious form before making her decision. "Then we don't ask for authorization," she said firmly. "I'm getting her out of here." Under cover of an artificial power failure orchestrated by Cooper, Isabel and Kai transported Sarah to a Nebulonian shuttle. As alarms blared behind them, they escaped the station with Cooper providing diplomatic clearance codes. The ritual chamber on Nebulon was ancient, walls of living crystal pulsing with energy that responded to the chants of 7 purple-skinned elders. Sarah lay semi-conscious on a crystalline altar, connected to Kai by glowing tubes that carried his essence directly into her bloodstream. "The ritual requires more than blood," explained Elder Aya. "Bone marrow, cellular material, all must be exchanged to create a stable template for the child." Kai nodded weakly, already feeling the effects of the extensive extraction. "Take whatever is needed." Throughout the night, the elders worked their ancient science, harvesting genetic material from Kai and introducing it into Sarah's failing system. Gradually, her color improved. The silver-blue fluid stopped seeping from her body, and the child within stabilized. When Sarah finally opened her eyes, she found Kai beside her, his purple skin now bearing faint patterns like fingerprints where his essence had been extracted. Looking at her own arms, she noticed traces of violet beneath her skin, a visible sign of their permanent connection. "You saved us," she whispered, taking his hand. "We saved each other," he replied. New dawn. The transformation extended beyond the physical. In the weeks following the ritual, Sarah and Kai discovered they shared a telepathic bond, their thoughts flowing between them with increasing clarity. More remarkably, they could both sense the developing consciousness of their child, curious, innocent, yet somehow ancient in its wisdom. "The bridge between worlds," Ambassador Cooper said when he visited them in their sanctuary within the Nebulonian temple city, "the living embodiment of unity between our species." Not everyone embraced this vision. A faction of human purists, led by Commander Rena, demanded Sarah's return for medical evaluation. Meanwhile, Nebulonian separatists viewed the hybrid child as a threat to their evolutionary heritage. "They're planning an attack on the temple," Kai informed Sarah one morning, his expression grave. Both human and Nebulonian extremists working together despite their hatred for each other. "Ironic that those who fear unity would unite against us," Sarah replied, her hand resting on her now prominent belly. The attack came during the naming ceremony, a sacred Nebulonian tradition for blessing unborn children. As Sarah and Kai stood within the crystal chamber, surrounded by supporters from both species, including Dr. Isabel and Cooper, explosions shook the ancient walls. "Protect the bridge, child," Elder Aya commanded as warriors moved to engage the attackers. In the chaos that followed, something extraordinary happened. As militants breached the inner chamber, Sarah and Kai stood united, their hands clasped. The child within Sarah responded to the threat with a surge of energy that radiated outward, creating a visible field of pulsing light that expanded to encompass everyone present. For a brief, transcendent moment, every being in that room, human and Nebulonian alike, experienced each other's consciousness. Enemies found themselves understanding the fears and hopes that drove their opponents. The shared vision lasted only seconds, but when it faded, weapons lowered and hostilities ceased. "This is the true power of the bridge," Cooper said in the silence that followed. "Understanding across difference." In the aftermath, a new peace accord was drafted. Sarah and Kai's child would be recognized as a sovereign entity, the first of a new evolutionary branch that represented not the dilution of either species, but the strengthening of both. 3 months later, under the light of Nebulon's twin moons and witnessed by delegates from both worlds, Sarah gave birth to a daughter with skin that shifted between human tones and subtle purple hues. Her eyes were Sarah's deep brown, flecked with Kai's amber gold. Aya, they named her, honoring the elder who had protected them, first of the bridge children. As Sarah held their miracle child, Kai's arms encircling them both, she reflected on how a single breath, one desperate act of compassion on an alien world, had changed everything. "What began as 2 separate breaths," Kai whispered, his thoughts flowing into hers, "now continues as one shared life." Sarah smiled, feeling the 3-way bond between them pulse with possibility. And with that shared breath, a new universe begins.